Ben Kentish, LBC. Secretary of State, you've told people to stay at home, but you've also told them to go to work if, of course, they're unable to work from home. At LBC, we've had lots of calls from people saying they simply don't feel safe at work. And while the government's urged employers to be responsible for this, and it's clear some have, it's also clear that many aren't. So what will the government do to protect those people who are having to go to work, key workers and non-key workers, to make sure they're safe to do so? And if I may, to Professor Powis, last week Boris Johnson said he was confident or hopeful that we could turn the tide within 12 weeks. That was before these more extreme social distancing measures were introduced, and there's now some talk that the peak could be as little as 3 weeks away. Are you confident we can now turn the tide sooner than 12 weeks? Thank you.
Ben, thank you very much for that. So we've always been very clear right from the start of the situation is that we will be led by the scientific and medical advice. And that also applies to the framing of any guidance that we have put out when it comes to how people should conduct themselves when it comes to work. We have set out a detailed list of non-essential businesses which we have required to close, and I want to thank those businesses for acting responsibly. We've also said that wherever possible, people should work from home, and very many people across our country have responded to that. It is, however, the case there are certain workplaces where you're not able to work from home, such as the manufacturing sector, where you will be required to go into work. We've said that people should, on those occasions, look to go into work. However, it is also incumbent on employers to make sure that they follow the Public Health England guidelines and they keep their employees safe. And that certainly is what very many employers are doing. I have conversations every day with businesses, with business representative groups, and I understand from those conversations that they are indeed adapting and they're also making sure that where it's required, they're issuing their staff with PPE. But if there are instances that people feel that organisations and businesses are not behaving appropriately in terms of their duty of care, then of course there are organisations like the HSE who should be informed.
So what I am confident of is that it is possible to get on top of this virus. And I'm confident for several reasons. One, because as a scientist and somebody who listens to our colleagues, our epidemiologists who understand this, as I said earlier, if we can reduce the transmission rate, the amount of spread from individual to individual, then the virus will start to decline in the population. That is a simple set of maths that underpins all these measures that have been put in. And so if we all comply with the measures and reduce that amount of transmission, then yes, we will begin to see a drop in the amount of virus circulating. And I'm also confident because we've seen other countries who have taken slightly different approaches, but the fundamental rationale is always the same, to reduce transmission. We have seen that begin to work. The time frame, I think, is difficult to determine, but I think we will see over the course of the next month exactly how that will play out here in the UK. But as I said earlier, this is not the time to be complacent. This is the time to really bear down and for all of us to act responsibly to reduce that transmission. And if we do that, then the quicker we will turn the tide on this, and the quicker we stay within the capacity that the NHS is planning.
Great, thank you, Stephen. The next question is from the Sun on Sunday, Dave Wooding. Dave.
Secretary of State,